You've been told influence is loud. Speak with confidence. Dominate the room. Sell yourself. Push harder. Talk faster. Win the debate. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The human mind doesn't agree because you said more. It agrees when it feels safe, smart, and in control. And the fastest way to create that feeling is often silence. Not awkward silence. Not shy silence. Not, I don't know what to say silence. I mean designed silence. The kind that makes people lean forward internally. The kind that lets their own brain finish your sentence and then defend a conclusion like it was their idea. Most people chase agreement like hunters. Silent influence works like gravity. It doesn't chase. It pulls. Right now, if you learn one thing from this chapter, let it be this. Words are not the main vehicle of persuasion. Words are the steering wheel. Silence is the engine, and you've been driving with the engine off. The hidden reason silence works. Your brain is a prediction machine. It hates unfinished patterns. It wants closure. When something is incomplete, your attention sticks. That's why cliffhangers work. That's why unresolved tension is magnetic. Silence is not nothing. Silence is an open loop with no visible end. When you stop talking at the right moment, the other person's mind starts doing the work, filling gaps, building meaning, guessing intention, defending their guess. And the mind trusts its own guesses more than. That's the first principle of silent influence. If their brain builds a conclusion, their ego protects it, not because you manipulated them, because humans are wired to complete patterns. So the ethical version of silent influence is simple. You remove pressure. You create space. You let the person arrive honestly. You guide without forcing. If your goal is to trap, this won't help you long term. People eventually feel it. If your goal is to lead a conversation, so both sides end up with the best decision, this is a superpower, the pressure paradox. When you push verbally, you create resistance. You can see it in real time. Not because they hate you, because pressure triggers a very old internal alarm. My autonomy is threatened. Silent influence removes that alarm. Silence communicates. I'm not attacking you. I can handle discomfort. I'm not desperate for your approval. You have space to think. And the brain relaxes. Relaxed brains agree more often than threatened ones. The most overlooked status signal on Earth. Here's something almost nobody says out loud. The person who can pause without fear usually has higher status in the interaction. Not social status. Not money. Not followers. Conversational status. When you answer instantly, it can signal neediness, defensiveness, trying to perform, fear of silence. When you pause calmly, it signals self-control, confidence, emotional stability. I'm not chasing you. And humans follow stability. This is why a surgeon doesn't rush their words. This is why a good negotiator speaks slower. This is why a dangerous person is often quiet. Silence is not softness. Silence is control. The three silences and why most people use the wrong one. Most people try silence once, feel awkward, and never use again because they use the wrong kind. There are three. 1, the intake silence. This is a pause before you respond. It does two things. Makes you look thoughtful, slows the emotional tempo. It tells the other person, I'm considering you, not reacting to you. Even a 1 to 2 second pause can change the entire mood. 2. The wait silence. This is the pause after you say something important. Most people destroy their own influence by talking again immediately, like they don't trust their own words. If you want something to land, you don't add more words. You let it hit. 3. The mirror silence. This is a pause after they speak, especially after they say something emotional, revealing, or slightly aggressive. Instead of defending, you pause and look at them with calm attention. It forces their brain to rehear what they just said, and often they soften themselves without you doing anything. This is one of the cleanest ways to dissolve conflict without winning. The silent frame, the real reason make anyone agree, sounds like magic. People don't agree with arguments. They agree with frames. A frame is the invisible meaning behind the words. Who is leading? Who is reactive? Is this safe or threatening? Is this a debate or a search for truth? Is agreement a loss or a relief? Silence sets frames faster than speech. Example, someone says, that idea won't work. If you instantly answer, you accept their frame, I must defend my idea. If you pause, look, then calmly ask, what part feels weakest to you? You set a new frame. We're diagnosing, not fighting. Now they're not your enemy. They're your analyst. And people love being analysts. It makes them feel smart. A person who feels smart around you is easier to align with. The first practice, 2 breaths before power. Here's the simplest drill to start today. It's almost stupid until you see what it does. Before responding to anything tense, take 2 calm breaths. No theatrical sigh. No eye roll. Just internal breaths. Then speak. That pause does 4 things. It stops you from reacting emotionally. It shows control. It lowers the temperature. It makes your words sound heavier. You'll notice people interrupt you less. You'll notice your voice gets steadier. You'll notice you don't need to say as much. And the best part? You start hearing what they really mean, not just what they said. The ethical agreement formula in 1 line. If you want people to agree without pushing, this is a foundation. Remove pressure, create space. Ask the question that makes them build a conclusion. Silence is the create space part. Without it, questions feel like traps. With it, questions feel like respect. Closing the loop. In this chapter, you learn the truth that can change your communication forever. Silence is not absence. It's influence without friction. In the next chapter, I'll show you how to use silent questions. Questions that don't sound like persuasion, but guide a person's thinking like a hand on a compass. There's a moment in every conversation where influence either becomes effortless or turns into a wrestling match. It's the moment you feel the urge to explain. You feel it in your chest. I need to prove this. I need to clarify. I need to defend myself so they don't misunderstand. And the second you start explaining, you often lose a game you didn't even know you were playing, because explanations create a hidden message. I'm trying to get you to agree. And once the other person senses that, their brain does what brains do best. It protects independence. Silent influence doesn't fight for agreement. It makes agreement feel like their idea. And the tool for that is not clever arguments. It's silent questions, not loud questions, not gotcha questions, not interrogation. Questions that feel like space, like respect, like curiosity. Questions that quietly force the other person to build a bridge in their own mind. The rule: never answer resistance with content. When someone resists you, your instinct is to add more information. But resistance is almost never about information. Resistance is about status: don't control me; safety: this could cost me; identity: this threatens how I see myself; uncertainty: I don't trust the outcome. So if you answer resistance with content, you are solving the wrong problem. Silent questions solve the real problem. What's the hidden reason they can't agree yet? The 4 layers people hide behind, and the questions that pierce them. Most conversations happen on the surface layer. Opinions, arguments, facts. But agreement is decided lower. Here are the 4 layers, from shallow to deep. Words, what they say; meaning, what they imply; emotion, what they feel; identity, what agreeing would mean about them. Silent questions move downward, and the deeper you go, the less they want to fight, because you're not debating, you're understanding. The compass question: the cleanest silent influence move. When someone says, "No, I don't think so, that won't work," most people push. Silent influencers ask, "What's the part that feels off to you?" And then they shut up. This is powerful because it does 3 things. It turns them from opponent into advisor. It forces specificity. General resistance is hard to solve. It gives you the real obstacle without guessing. Here's the secret. People often don't know why they disagree until they're forced to explain it. And when they explain it, they often notice the weakness in their own resistance. Not because you attacked them, because you gave them a mirror. The 2 doors question gives autonomy back. A brain fights when it feels trapped, so you offer 2 doors. Both are safe. Neither is pressure. Would you rather do it the simple way first, or test it quickly before committing? Now their brain relaxes because it feels choice. And the weird part? People often choose the option that aligns with you because you stop pushing the single option. This is silent influence in its purest form. You don't force a path. You design choices. The scale question turns no into movement. If you ask, "Do you agree?" you force a binary answer. Binary answers create resistance. Instead, scale the question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how close are you to yes? Whatever number they say, never argue. Ask the real move. What would move it 1 point higher? Now they're literally telling you how to persuade them. And because it's their idea, it doesn't trigger defense. You didn't push. You asked them to build the conditions for agreement. The identity-safe question, the one that melts ego fights. People don't defend logic. They defend identity. They defend being competent, strong, not naive, not weak. So when you sense ego resistance, you don't challenge. You protect identity first. What would someone smart and cautious need to see to feel comfortable here? This question quietly says, "I'm not calling you stupid for doubting. You're smart for being careful." And once their identity is safe, their mind becomes flexible again. The reverse spotlight question makes them feel seen. Most influence fails because people feel unheard. And when people feel unheard, they resist even good ideas. So you do the opposite of persuasion. You ask them to define their world. What matters most to you in this decision? Then silence. Not polite silence. Real silence. Let them speak. Let them unfold. When someone hears themselves clearly, they often become less reactive. And here's the twist. If you later align your proposal to what they just said, it won't sound like persuasion. It will sound like collaboration. The future memory question quietly makes agreement feel inevitable. This is not mainstream. It's weirdly effective. You're not asking them to decide now. You're asking their mind to simulate a future where it worked. If we tried this and it actually worked, what would be different for you? Then silence. This flips their brain from critic mode to imagination mode. Critic mode looks for flaws. Imagination mode looks for pathways. And pathways create agreement. The cost of no question without sounding threatening. Never threaten. Never guilt. But you can invite them to notice the cost of staying the same. If nothing changes for the next 6 months, what happens? Silence. This makes no feel like a decision too, rather than neutral, because many people treat no as safe default. Your question exposes the truth. Not deciding is still deciding. The power move nobody uses. The echo plus pause. This is silent influence at the micro level. They say, I just don't trust that this will work. You reply, you don't trust it, and pause. Do not add anything. That pause forces them to continue. Most people can't tolerate silence after hearing their own words reflected back, so they expand. And in that expansion, you find the real objection. Often it becomes, I've tried before and got burned. I don't want to look stupid. I'm scared of wasting time. Now you can solve the real thing. The chapter's core technique. Ask, then wait longer than feels normal. Here's the hard truth. Most people sabotage silent questions because they don't hold the silence. They ask a good question, then rescue the other person from thinking by speaking again. Silent influence requires you to tolerate a small discomfort. A practical rule. After asking a question, count 1, 2, 3 in your head. Even if they start answering at 2, don't jump in. Let them finish. When you can hold silence, your questions become heavy. When you can't, your questions become noise. Many scripts use them as is. When someone disagrees, which part doesn't sit right? Pause. When someone is defensive, what would make this feel safe for you? Pause. When someone is vague, what specifically worries you? Pause. When you need alignment, what would a win look like for you here? Pause. When you need a decision without pressure, what would you need to see to feel ready? Pause. Most people think conversations are about content. They're not. Conversations are about what the interaction means. Two people can say the exact same sentence and get completely different results because the frame underneath it is different. A frame is the invisible story the brain chooses. Is this a debate or a diagnosis? Is this a threat or a chance? Is this about power or about truth? Is agreement submission or relief? Is this person trying to win or trying to help? If the frame is wrong, your best arguments are wasted. Silent influence doesn't argue inside a frame. It replaces a frame quietly, so agreement becomes natural. And the most insane part? You can do this without sounding persuasive at all. You do it with calm pacing, silence, the right sequence of moves, a few phrases that don't feel like techniques. The first 10 seconds decide the frame. People decide the meaning of an interaction fast. Before you finish your first explanation, their brain has already labeled you. Salesman slash friend slash threat slash leader slash needy slash stable slash manipulative slash safe. Silent influencers understand something most don't. Your tempo sets your status. Your calm sets their safety. If you rush, you telegraph, I need something from you. If you slow down, you telegraph, I'm fine either way. That single signal changes everything. The core rule: never enter a prove yourself frame. The fastest way to lose influence is to accept this invisible frame. I must convince you. It turns you into a performer, and performers get judged. Judged people don't get agreement. They get resistance, nitpicking, power games. So you replace the frame, not with aggression, with a calm shift. Frame number 1, from debate to diagnosis. This is the most useful silent reframe. When someone challenges you, do not defend. Pause. Look. Soft voice. Then say something like, let's diagnose it. Pause. Or, let's figure out what would make it fail. Pause. Now the conversation is not me versus you. It becomes us versus the problem. And here's what happens when it becomes diagnosis. Their ego relaxes. They stop trying to win. They start offering data. They become co-creator. People love diagnosing. It makes them feel intelligent. And a person who feels intelligent around you becomes easier to align with. Frame number 2, from selling to filtering. Most persuasion feels dirty because it feels like selling. So you flip it into filtering. Instead of, this is great, you should do it, you say, this might not be for you. Pause. Or, we should check if this even fits you. Pause. This is not a trick. It's a psychological reset. It tells their nervous system, you're not desperate. You're not pushing. They won't be trapped. Now they lean in, because humans chase what doesn't chase them. Filtering creates the silent frame. This person is selective. Selective people are trusted more than needy people. Frame number 3, from I'm right to let's test it. Arguments create identity wars. Testing creates curiosity. When someone disputes you, you don't fight. You say, we don't have to agree. Let's test it. Pause. Or, what would be the simplest test that proves or disproves this? Pause. Testing is a frame that bypasses ego. It makes agreement not an emotional surrender, but a logical outcome. And the person can change their mind without losing face because they didn't lose. They learned. Frame number 4, from pressure to permission. This one is subtle and powerful. When people feel forced, they resist. So you give permission to disagree. You say, you don't have to say yes. Pause. Or, if this isn't a fit, that's totally fine. Pause. This drops tension instantly, because pressure is the enemy of agreement. Here's the paradox. When you remove pressure, people become more persuadable. Not always immediately, but their defenses lower. And lower defenses are where alignment lives. The silent ladder, a non-mainstream sequence. Most people either explain immediately or ask random questions. Silent influence uses a sequence that quietly changes meaning step by step. I call it the silent ladder. Pause 2 seconds. Name the situation neutrally. Ask one diagnostic question. Reflect their answer. Offer a test or choice. Stop talking again. Here's how it sounds in real life. They say, I don't think this will work. You pause. Okay. Pause. What part feels most uncertain? Pause. They answer. You reflect. So the risk is X. Pause. Do you want to test it small or leave it? Pause. Notice there is no convincing. Yet the frame becomes. This is safe, controlled, and optional. That's where agreement happens. Silent framing in conflict. The temperature drop. If someone is heated, the worst move is to match energy. Silent influence does the opposite. Temperature drop. You slow down. You lower volume. You shorten sentences. You use more pauses. Not passivity, control. Then you say, let's slow this down. Pause. Or, I want to understand you before we decide anything. Pause. This reframes them from fight mode into herd mode. And when someone feels heard, they stop needing to fight for oxygen. The status frame without arrogance. People decide if they can push you. If they sense you can be pushed, they will, often unconsciously. Silent influence establishes a calm boundary. No over-explaining. No rushing. No emotional defending. No trying to be liked. You can say, I'm not here to argue. Pause. Or, I'm open to being wrong. I'm not open to chaos. Pause. That one is lethal. In the best way, because it frames you as flexible on truth, firm on behavior. That's leadership. The most powerful reframe. Meaning of no. Many people treat no as rejection. Silent influence reframes no as information. They say, no, you. Pause. Got it. Pause. What does no protect you from? Pause. Now no becomes a protective strategy, not a personal attack. And when you understand what no protects, you can offer safety without begging. Many scripts quiet, clean, strong. When someone challenges you, maybe let's diagnose it. Pause. What's the weakest link? Pause. When someone is skeptical, fair. Pause. What would you need to see to believe it? Pause. When someone tries to dominate, I'm not in a contest. Pause. Let's focus on what works. Pause. When you sense manipulation, I'm not comfortable with pressure. Pause. What's the real concern? Pause. When you want agreement without chasing, this might not fit. Pause. Do you want to test it small? Pause. Most people think influence happens in sentences, but agreement is often decided before the sentence finishes. By microsignals the other person's nervous system reads automatically. You can say the perfect words and still lose because your timing screams uncertainty. Your pace screams neediness. Your eyes scream, please approve me. Silent influence is built on something almost nobody trains. Micro-influence. Tiny cues that steer the emotional direction of the interaction without using pressure. Not TikTok, alpha body language nonsense. This is about nervous system leadership. Who stays calm when tension appears? Who can hold silence without collapsing? Who doesn't chase approval? Who sets the tempo? The brain follows a person whose signals say, I'm stable. I'm not desperate. I'm safe to align with. The prime law, tempo equals control. Tempo is the hidden currency of conversations. When you speed up under stress, you tell them, I'm reactive. I need to fix this. I'm afraid of losing you. When you slow down under stress, you tell them, I'm in control. I can handle discomfort. I'm not chasing. That alone changes the power balance. Micro rule. When the conversation gets tense, slow your speech by 20% and shorten your sentences. Not dramatically, not robotic, just slightly. That small drop creates a felt sense of authority. The last word drop, sentence endings that trigger agreement. Most people end sentences like questions, even when they're not asking. Their voice goes up at the end. It signals uncertainty and invites pushback. Silent influence uses the drop. You end statements with a slight downward tone. You let the last word land. You stop. Example. Instead of, so I think we should try it. Upward. You say, we can test it small. Downward. Pause. It feels calm. Final. Non-pushy. And here's the paradox. Final doesn't mean aggressive. Final means safe. The two-beat nod, non-mainstream. Most nodding advice is cringe. But there's a real pattern humans respond to. When they say something important, you do a small nod, then you wait a beat, then a second small nod. 2 beats. It communicates. I got it. I'm processing. Go deeper. People often continue talking after the second nod without you asking. And when they talk more, you get the real motives, the real fears, the real conditions for agreement. Micro-influence is often about getting them to reveal more without interrogation. The eye timing rule, look away at the right moment. Most people try to hold strong eye contact like it's a dominance contest that can create threat. Instead, you lead with warm stability. Here's a powerful micro move. Maintain eye contact while they speak. When you start speaking, briefly glance away for 0.5 seconds, like you're thinking, then return to eye contact. Why it works? It signals you're not performing. You're retrieving thoughts, not seeking approval. It lowers tension while preserving confidence. It's subtle, but it changes how your words feel. The pause placement, where silence has the most power. Silence is not just length, it's placement. There are 3 high-impact placements. 1, before your key phrase. You pause and deliver it. It feels deliberate. Pause. Here's the real problem. Pause. 2, after your key phrase. You let it land. You don't decorate it. Because this is not about price. Pause. It's about risk. Pause. 3, after their emotional statement. You don't rush to soothe. You let emotion exist. They say, I'm tired of being disappointed. You pause. Yeah. Pause. That, yeah, with silence can be more persuasive than a paragraph because it signals I can hold your reality. The minimal response, how to make them keep talking. When people reveal something, most listeners jump in with advice. That kills momentum. Silent influence uses micro responses that invite continuation. Pause. Go on. Pause. Say more. Pause. Yeah. Pause. The point is not to sound scripted. The point is to not steal the steering wheel. Because the person who talks more often becomes more persuadable. They're literally building the narrative in real time. The breath sync without becoming creepy. If you mirror someone too directly, it feels weird, but there is a natural version. When they're fast and tense, you breathe slightly slower. Your calm becomes a regulator. They downshift unconsciously. You're not copying them, you're leading them. This is emotional leadership, and it's why calm people often win without trying. The space claims signal physical but not alpha. If you shrink under pressure, you look like you're losing. If you expand aggressively, you look like a threat. Silent influence uses neutral space, stable posture, shoulders relaxed, minimal fidgeting, feet grounded, hands still. The key is stillness. Stillness reads as confidence. Fidgeting reads as internal conflict. Micro drill in a conversation. Choose one body part to keep still, hands or feet. This reduces nervous leakage and makes your presence feel heavier. The one question rule, microstructure. When people try to influence, they ask too many questions. Multiple questions feel like pressure. Silent influence asks one question, then holds silence. One question says, "I'm not interrogating you. This is simple. You have time, and time is persuasion." Example, instead of, "So what do you think? Would you do it? When could we start? Do you trust it?" You ask, "What would make this easy to say yes to?" Pause. That's it. The soft no, how to not get pushed. If someone is pushing you, you don't have to fight. You do a soft no, calm face, slower voice, short phrase, silence, examples. "No, I won't do that." Pause. "That doesn't work for me." Pause. "I'm not available for that." Pause. No justification. Justification invites negotiation. Calm boundaries create respect. And respect is a quiet form of influence. Micro-influence sequence uses exactly. If you want a repeatable pattern, here it is. Slow down 15%. Last word drop. One question. Two beat nod while they answer. Reflect in 6 to 10 words. Offer 2 doors. Silence. Example. They. I'm not sure. You. Slow. Fair. Pause. What would make you confident? Pause. 2 beat nod. So you need proof it works. Pause. Do you want to test it small or skip it? Pause. That's silent influence. No pushing, no selling, no pressure. Before we go further, I'll say the quiet part out loud. If you try to make anyone agree, you'll eventually break trust. So the real power is this. Make agreement feel safe, intelligent, and voluntary. That's the ethical version of silent influence. And it's also the version that works long-term. This chapter gives you a protocol you can run like a script in your head, without sounding scripted. The Silent Influence Protocol, SIP, think of it as 6 moves in order. Each move is small. Together they create inevitability. Move 1, neutralize pressure, 2 seconds. Before you speak, do the smallest pause that changes a room. Pause. 2 breaths. Soft face. Then you say one line that removes pressure. No rush. We don't have to decide right now. If it's not a fit, totally fine. This is not weakness. This is you removing the biggest enemy of agreement. Reactance. Don't control me. If you can remove reactance, you can lead. Move 2, name the frame, 1 sentence. You decide what this conversation is. Pick one frame. Diagnosis. Let's figure out what the real obstacle is. Let's test it small and see. Fit. Let's check if this fits you. Frame, stop chaos. Chaos creates resistance. Move 3. Ask the one real question. One question, not 3. Not a questionnaire. Choose based on context. If they resist, what part feels off? If they fear risk, what would make this feel safe? If they're vague, what specifically worries you? If you need alignment, what would a win look like for you? Then this matters. Stop. Your silence is the pressure release valve. Move 4. Mirror plus wait silence. 6 to 10 words. When they answer, don't argue. Don't fix. Don't sell. You compress their point into a clean mirror. So the risk is wasting time and looking wrong. So you're not against it. You're against uncertainty. Then you pause. This does something crazy. It makes them feel understood, and it makes their own objection sound more manageable, like a defined object, not a monster. Move 5. Offer 2 doors, autonomy without losing direction. Now you give them control freedom. Do you want to test it small or leave it? Do you want the simple version or the more thorough one? Do you want to decide now or sleep on it? 2 doors is the best structure because it avoids the trap feeling. A single option feels like a push. 2 options feels like respect. Move 6. Close with a quiet commitment, micro yes. You don't ask for a giant yes. You ask for a tiny next step that doesn't threaten identity. Let's try it once. Let's do a 10-minute test. Let's just outline the plan. People don't fear small commitments. Small commitments create momentum. Momentum creates agreement. A full example, realistic. I don't think this will work. You, pause, fair, pause. Let's diagnose it. Pause. What part feels weakest? Pause. I think it'll waste time. You, so the risk is time with no payoff. Pause. Do you want to test it small or skip it? Pause. What do you mean by test small? You, 10 minutes, 1 run, then we decide. Pause. Is that fair? Pause. Notice. No arguing. No proving. No begging. No emotional heat. Just structure plus silence. The 7 mistakes that kill silent influence instantly. Over-explaining. You turn yourself into a salesman. The brain resists. Answering too fast. Fast answers signal fear of silence and lower status. Multiple questions at once. Feels like interrogation equals pressure. Filling the silence. You steal their thinking process. They stop persuading themselves. Try be light. Approval seeking kills respect. Respect drives influence. Winning the point. You win the sentence and lose the person. Hiding your intent. If you're being strategic, don't be sneaky. Be clean. Silent influence works best when it's felt as clarity, not as tricks. The silent influence reset when things go wrong. If you feel the conversation slipping, do this. Pause. Let's slow down. What are we actually deciding? What matters most to you here? Silence. This resets the nervous system and the frame in under 20 seconds. The strongest influence doesn't win in the moment. It wins after the moment, when you're not there, because people rarely adopt ideas publicly. They adopt them privately, inside their own head, where the ego can stay safe. That's why silent influence is not just silence in conversation. It's designing a mental echo that keeps working when you're gone. If you can do that, you don't need to push. You don't need to convince. You don't need to chase. They come back to your idea like it was their own. The quiet power loop QPL. This is the loop. It has 4 parts. Seed, a simple idea. Value link, connected to what they care about. Open loop, leave it unfinished but safe. Tiny test, a non-threatening next step. If you do all 4, your influence becomes sticky. Not because you're manipulative, because you match how beliefs actually form. Part 1, the seed, one sentence that replays. Most people try to plan a whole speech. A seed is a single line that can replay naturally. Rules for a seed. Short, not aggressive, slightly incomplete. Feels true even if they disagree. Examples. A small test protects you from big mistakes. We don't need a belief. We need a measurement. The real risk is repeating the same month again. If it's real, it survives a simple experiment. Say it once, then stop. If you repeat it, it becomes persuasion. If you say it once and let silence hold it, it becomes a thought. Part 2, the value link make about them. People don't move for logic. They move to protect what they value. Time, respect, freedom, safety, identity, reputation, peace. So you attach the seed to their value. You don't say, this is a good idea. You say, since you care about not wasting time, the smallest test is safest. Since you care about doing it right, measuring first is cleanest. Since you hate pressure, this way keeps it voluntary. Now your idea feels like self-respect, not compliance. Part 3, the open loop, the later pull. This is the non-mainstream part. You end the interaction not with a hard close, but with a gentle, unfinished question that their brain keeps chewing. The open loop must be calm, optional, specific enough to think about, not guilt-based. Examples. Think about what would make this a safe yes. If you found one condition that removes the risk, what would it be? What would you need to see to feel calm about it? If we tested it once, what would you want to measure? Then you leave it. Open loops create internal tension. Humans resolve tension by returning to the idea. That's why they come back. Part 4, the tiny test, agreement without identity threat. Most people fear commitment, not action. So you offer action that doesn't threaten identity. A tiny test is small, reversible, private if possible, measurable, time-bound. Examples. Let's try it for 10 minutes. Let's do one run and look at the result. Let's test it once, no commitment beyond that. Let's draft it and decide later. This makes yes feel safe, and safe yes is the only yes that lasts. The aftertaste principle, why they remember you. People don't remember your logic. They remember the emotional aftertaste of being with you. If the aftertaste is calm, respected, understood, unpressured, they'll trust your direction later. So here's a micro habit. At the end of a serious conversation, give permission. No pressure either way. If it's a no, it's clean. Choose what you won't regret. Permission is not weakness. Permission is what confident people can afford. The later yes script use it as is. Here's a complete loop you can run in real life. Let's not force it. Pause. Since you care about not wasting time, the safest move is a small test. Pause. 1 run. 10 minutes. If it's trash, we drop it. Pause. Sleep on this. What would make a confident yes? Pause. We'll talk tomorrow. Pause. Notice the design. No arguing. No pressure. Identity protected. Decision delayed without losing direction. What to do when they don't respond, silent follow-up. The biggest mistake is chasing. Silent influence follows up like this. Short message. Optional. Value linked. Tiny test. Examples. No rush. Did you think of what would make it a safe yes? If we tested it once, what would you want to measure? Still optional. If it's not a fit, all good. This keeps autonomy intact, which keeps defenses low. The one line that makes people return. If you want a single sentence that almost always creates a return effect, use this. Don't decide now. Just notice what your mind keeps coming back to, then silence. It gives them permission to process privately, and it makes their brain watch itself. That self-observation creates ownership.